bring some pals, and there's also therapy too.
All right, people, let's do this. What's up? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to Park Pals Podcast. I am writing solo today as Maddie has some other previous engagements and she's just got a lot going on. So I'm going to try to hold down the fort for you. Okay, so we are at Season 6, Episode 7, Recall Vote. But just a heads up, I want to get into some, refreshers from last week because we've got some stuff I need to talk about. First of all, I was very mad about last time Ingrid saying that she was going to run for city council should Leslie be removed. And I was mad because I think in my head when I heard that scene, a part of me thought she was running against Leslie. But that's not necessarily true. She was just going to be the Eagleton candidate. And so I'm still like frustrated about it. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think she's running against, nor is she like wishing that Leslie should be recalled. You know what I mean? So I think she's redeemed and, sorry for my outburst, but I was mad because I don't want Leslie to be recalled. Okay. So I guess if someone is going to take it, if Leslie's gone, then I'd rather it be her than like another jam, like an Eagleton jam. So anyway, okay. So that's that. Last week, we also talked about Nadia. That was her last episode. We weren't sure if she came back, and we were pretty positive that she didn't. She does not. I think by this time, she was filming Orphan Black, pretty heavy into that. She was probably in season 2 by that time. So that took up a lot of her time because she was playing 9,000 characters. And I am continuing to watch it, and shit's getting even crazier than what I explained last time. So, but yes, Tatiana, who plays Nadia, is fantastic, and you guys should absolutely watch it. Okay. The other thing is that our Park Pal friend, B. Leslie Thurston, who was on Parks, obviously, oh my gosh, of course, had a brain fart moment there, who was on Parks, is now going to be on the new show, The Paper, which is, the new kind of not spin-off, but it's the way they pitched it is the same documentary crew that filmed The Office is now doing another business called The Paper, and Leslie Thurston is in it, and she is on episode 6 of The Paper. So take a look at that, make sure you're watching that, and check out and support our Park Pals. Super fun. And then we got some voice memos from our friend Craig Stepp, who plays the Eagletonian that I said had a modeling agent and everything. He is the one that is leading the charge on the recall, he's not leading the charge on recalling, but he's leading the charge of the Eagletonians that come to city council to support Leslie because they want to vote their own person in that's going to support their needs, blah, blah, blah. So he sent me some really great voice memos. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Hi, it's Craig Stepp. How I got the job at Parks and Recreation was strictly by auditioning. It was a fun audition. We used what was written in the script. And then I was told afterwards that they were going to keep the dialogue running, the casting people, and for me to respond. So I won them over, I think, they said something like, why won't you do this? I forget exactly what it was. And I just looked at the camera and said, because I'm a big shit. And they all fell over laughing, and I got the job. So that's the answer to that question.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so funny. Yeah, you got some improv moments. Lots of people talk about the improv in the auditions. So to hear that they were falling over laughing is always such a good confidence boost. Love that so much. That's so great to hear. And what a fun, like, Eagleton person thing to say. I love that. And by the way, I really do love Craig's voice. I think it's really hilarious that I can like totally recall the exact scene you're in by listening to your voice. So I love that very much. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to the next one.
My day on the set was great to be there. I had the worst cold of my life on that day. But, Kleenex and just suck it up and you get through it. Yeah, no real directions, because it's pretty simple stuff. Cast and crew, they were all great. It was a lot of fun. Met the executive producer and everybody on down the line. They have funny murals, which would be called racist now, painted in the hallways of the town hall that they were using. But they were pretty funny. Oh, yeah, I was just happy to be there. So my energy was as high as it could be with a terrible cold. And it all worked out.
Oh, wow. That's so crazy that you had a cold during that time. You couldn't tell, and your energy was high, and it was great. So still loved it. Wonderful job there. Yes, so glad that you got to see the murals. Oh, my gosh. Those are so infamous, and I'm so glad that you got to see them in person. I think they're racist even then, not just now. That is why they had that whole thing about why they needed to get rid of some of the murals and hide some of the murals, and I talk about it even in that day. So that's worth noting. Okay, let's listen to the next one.
The scenes that I had wasn't directly with Amy Poehler, but was directly with Rob Lowe. This is a scene in their council chambers, and Amy Poehler's character was trying to do a filibuster. She was doing a filibuster and running out of gas in this scene. I'm an Eagletonian, or the next door rich town, and my scene with Rob Lowe was about me showing up to support him, which he thought, and he gave me a big hug. He said, "Can I give you a hug?" Thinking I was going to be behind him on this, and I said, "But we're not voting for your thing," and that was that. He was like, "Oh my God." The scene with Amy where she was in chambers, and I led a whole group of protesters, essentially, or supporters that were carrying signs, painted signs, and they followed me into chambers, and I happily announced that I was throwing my my allegiance to Amy Poehler's character, and that was a lot of fun. One of I can't remember the actor's name now, came up to me afterwards and said, "Hey, real good job on that." So that made me proud. Felt good that I was acknowledged.
That's so exciting. I wonder who that actor was. I mean, it could have really been anybody. They're always so good. But yes, I really love the hug moment between him and Rob Lowe of like, "I formally revoke my hug." Well, you can't. It happened. I just love that tone of like, well, it's too bad. That was really fun. Okay, let's listen to the next one.
So that's kind of it. I'm trying to think. Is there anything special that was going on there? No, not per se. Pretty much described it as it happened, and actually don't have anything to promote right now. So I thank you for asking, and I hope that the answers to these questions are helpful to you in your podcast. Okay, thanks, Holly. Bye.
Yay, that was so nice and special. Thank you, Craig, so much. And just as a shout out / reminder, we had to figure out, or I had to kind of explain what to do for the voice memos and how to get that working. So I'm very grateful that you were working with me and patient on how to, make this happen. So thank you so much for sending those in. We always love to hear from our guest stars because it just makes our podcast so much better, our fandom so much wider, and it just helps everything. So thank you so much. So exciting. Okay, so we are officially in Season 6, Episode 7, Recall Vote. So sad. So brave. So bummer. Original air date was November 14th, 2013. So this was around the Halloween moment. Written by our girl. Well, I call her our girl. She's not actually our friend or anything, but she is a Park Pals / Parks and Rec legend, Aisha Muharrar. And I always say this, and I'll continue to say this. She is the gal who worked at the baby store with Anne at the same city that April goes to her. Oh my God, why can't I speak? That April goes to her vet school moment and Anne's going baby shopping, and she says that she's never seen bibs without Dale and her Jr. on them. So, and then Aisha's the lady at the store that's working there. And it's like, really? So she is a writer on the show. She's a great writer and has contributed so much. She's done a lot of wonderful Mike Schur shows, as well as The Good Place and lots of stuff. So keep an eye out for her. This was directed by Wendy Stanzler. She has directed so many things, including Parks. We've seen her before. This is her last episode with Parks, though. She did 4 episodes total. The first one was season 3, flu season, which is amazing because that's the episode where we talk about, or how we mentioned flu season as one of the episodes that people would introduce people who have never watched Parks, which is so true. So love that very much. And then we also saw her work with Meet and Greet, which was the one where Tom takes over to try to save Entertainment 720, and there's a hot tub limo and all that stuff. She also directed Leslie v. April, which we love that episode as well. And then this one. So very sad and bittersweet that she will be, leaving us after this episode, but so glad that she was here and contributed so much. We absolutely are in awe of this team. Side note, she directed so many other shows too. So Help Me Todd, Sex and the City. She directed 3 episodes of Glee, Shameless, like a ton of shows that you guys would absolutely know. So well done to Aisha and Wendy. Okay, and so now we have a summary from Maddie. So let's go ahead and take a listen to that.
We have made it to recall vote, sadly. Okay, here's my summary. Leslie deals with the reality of no longer being in office, and Ben joins her through all of her emotions. The Parks team turns City Hall into a haunted house. Ron's in Bloosh, which Tom thinks will help him. So I was just going to quickly say that I'm going to be real. I straight up thought that Rent a Swag was already done and gone after everything with Tommy's Closet. So this cold open was news to me. But that's cool. We're ready to go on to Tom's next big adventure. I love seeing Ben and Leslie lose it. I think this is such a validation moment for all of us who are inner Leslies and Anns and Bens, that it's okay to lose it. It's okay to be emotional every once in a while. Like when things happen, you have to have your moment to be emotional, to process those emotions. Like you do not have to handle it perfectly right off the bat. Like have your emotions and then be able to logically make next steps later. And I don't think we see Leslie lose it very often like this. So I think this is really refreshing for me. I also love seeing Ben and Ann work together in the beginning of this episode, trying to make sure that Leslie stays calm, no matter what happens with the results. And I thought that was just really beautiful. So those are my thoughts, and I'm excited to hear the entire episode.
Yay. Thanks so much for sending that in. Very much appreciated. Yes, I totally understand what you mean and why you would think that Rent a Swag was done, because we don't talk about it anymore after that. Tom has been in the office, so I feel like we haven't really mentioned anything about it. But I am glad we get this closure moment and we really see what's happening. I think it's also a really good growth moment for Tom as an entrepreneur, as a business person, to really, go through the negotiations of what he wants to get out of this deal. So that's really cool for me to see personally. But yay. Okay. Well, let's get into it. So we start this episode with Tom talking to the lawyer guy, as Maddie mentioned in the cold open, totally lying about how Rent a Swag is doing so great. Jaden Smith wants to quit the music industry and come work there with him. For those of you not involved in pop culture, Jaden Smith is Will Smith's son. Singer, rapper, dude. And Tom is like, no, you can't. The world needs you and your talent. And the lawyer calls his bluff and is like, look, it's only a matter of time until you go out of business. And that he says his client has something he referred to as sympathy, in air quotes, because he has no idea what that means, because he's a lawyer that just cares about the facts. And he's saying this because I guess Dr. Saperstein had a moment of weakness or sympathy, if you will, and that he's giving Tom a final offer, $40K for Rent a Swag and all of its assets. And I love that in order to think this over, he needs a big old mug of hot chocolate and to put on his thinking PJs. That's one of my most favorite things ever. And I really think that we should have more outfits for different vibes / different events, decisions, mindsets that you have to make. Like, I should have a podcast research outfit. Can someone please help me figure out what I should wear whilst I research the podcast and reach out to all my little guest stars and all that kind of stuff? Like, or maybe like a podcast beanie or a podcast poncho. Somebody make that happen for me, please. But I am curious if any of you guys have any different outfits or anything for those different, events that you have in your life, or like thinking caps, if you will. But I do love that so much. And I love that this lawyer like immediately gloms on to the fact that he has thinking PJs and wants to get them, and that the client would like to acquire them. And Tom is a non-negotiable on this end and saying, you will never acquire my thinking PJs or my YouTube blazer. Non-negotiable. And I just would love to hear what other Tom outfits there are. Like he must have something for watching, Beyonce videos, or which I guess that would be his YouTube blazer, but you know what I mean. And anyway, the offer is only valid for 48 hours, so he's really got some thinking to do. So Larry, aka Jerry, I'll never think of him as Larry. That's my least favorite. He's Jerry to me. But anyway, he's coming into the committee meeting late because he was voting for Leslie, and he's telling them that there was a lot of people at the polls, lots of stuff going on, and she doesn't want to hear any of this news. She wants to focus on what we can control. So they are transforming City Hall into a super fun, massive haunted house, which sounds so fun. I'm sure that cities do this. And I would love to be, involved / hear about this so that I can, make sure that the community knows. I know that some of the community events here are trunk or treats, if you've seen those, which are so much nicer, I feel, than trick-or-treating these days. Obviously, trick-or-treating is great if you feel safe in your neighborhood and whatever, but trunk-or-treating is really lovely because if you're not familiar, people that from the community bring their trunk and they decorate them, and then they have candy, and you go around to each trunk and get candy that way, and it's usually always like a vetted organization that you can go be a part of, as opposed to like going to some rando's house. But anyway, so that's fun. Anyhow, okay, so today is recall day, and there's really nothing left to do at this point, but wait, they've done everything they possibly can. Leslie is trying to fill her time with literally anything other than thinking about the recall vote, and I really hate that this is happening. When she's sitting at her desk and saying, like, there's nothing to do but sit here and see what happens, I'm just like, my heart's breaking watching her be like, but there's plenty of stuff to do. It's Kevin Pollak's birthday today. Who cares about the recall? It's Kevin's day. And I'm just like sinking gut feeling that she's having to go through this. Such a bummer. We've worked so hard. Anyways, so now Tom is talking to Ron about what to do for Rent-A-Swag, because Ron has always given him sound and sage advice. And technically, I think Ron is like an investor person. So he is trying to get some information and see what to do. I love these tiny marshmallows. They're so funny. And Ron throwing them in his cup is so cute. I love that. Then we hear a scream from next door. We don't know what the hell's going on, but Donna rushes in all excited, saying that Ron is in something called Bloosh. And Ron clearly has no idea what this is, but Tom and Donna do, and they are so excited. And there's clearly something up with the culture here for them to know about it. And then we find out that Bloosh is a lifestyle email and newsletter thing that is super popular in Pawnee that tells people what to buy, like their own island, or what to do, like wind therapy and those kinds of things. I love Tom saying that she's legit. This lady who runs it, Annabelle Porter, she's legit. She spent 4 months living in Kate Bosworth's pool house. I also love that her dream was to become friends with a bunch of celebrities. Like, that's why she went to Hollywood, not to become a famous actor or anything, but just to be friends with celebrities. That's really great to me. Apparently, Ron's chair that he made has gotten into Bloosh somehow. And Tom says he's been trying to get Rent-A-Swag in there forever. So now Tom thinks that this is his in to save the store. And if we can be in this Bloosh lifestyle magazine, maybe we'll get some more money, some more customers, and, not have to shut down or sell, I guess I should say. I love this moment. We have this Tom and Donna diva moment, which is so funny. Ron's in Bloosh. Ron's in Bloosh. What? Ron's in Bloosh. Do it. I love it so much. It reminds me of the erase all pictures of Ron when they're trying to get him off the grid, and Tom and Donna are like, erase all pictures of Ron. It's just hilarious. They have so much fun with it. Someone's getting a new leather jacket. It's not for you, it's for me. This is a great day. Love that so much. And I love that Donna's being utilized in more episodes / in more scenes. So Bloosh being on the show for me was such a great storyline. I'm so glad they did it. This was before influencers were even as big as they are now, but they were absolutely playing on the Goop trope. I say trope, but it's a business. Goop was a business from Gwyneth Paltrow, because this is right around the time that was coming out, and she was talking about a lot of pseudoscience stuff, as well as just like stuff she liked, she thought people should buy. You know, some of it, if it works for you, it's great. But I think the point of this was more of the influencer. No one else can afford anything else that you're trying to sell here, and you're going to make people go broke by trying to buy the things that you're saying are life-changing and everyone should have. And so that's kind of like, this was before TikTok, and which is wild to say, because you can't really think of a life. Well, I can, because I love TikTok, but like can't really think of a bunch of lifetimes without TikTok and the influencers and the TikTok commissions and blah, 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 blah. So, yes, I love that they did the Bloosh play. Okay. Let's move on here. Oh, side note, I think a lot of people did this because Modern Family, I've been rewatching that, and NERP, if you guys are familiar with the show, Haley works at NERP, which is this like failed actresses lifestyle brand, and I think a lot of people are trying to play on Goop here. But this one's clear because it's Bloosh, which has the OOs in the middle. Anyhow. Okay, so now the team is getting ready for the Halloween party / haunted house, and it looks so great. These decorations are awesome, truly. We're in the courtyard now, and everybody's like pitching in. It looks so good. However, Chris notices that April is more sad / depressed than normal, and so he tries to cheer her up by trying to make Halloween, fun for her, but it's not working, at least right now. And this is sad because, you don't really think about it until she really says it, but Andy's not here, and it really was their thing. Not only did they throw, eggs at Jerry's house, Jerry, Larry, Gary, whatever's house, but they got dressed up together. They always threw Halloween parties, which I think is amazing. That was another thing, too, that I was going to mention, that Wendy Stanzler directed the meet and greet episode, like I said, the E720 hot tub limo thing. That was also the episode where Andy and April throw their Halloween party, and Millie is there with Rob Lowe, and Jerry's there as a Mr. Potato Head, and all that kind of stuff, and Ben's living at their house. So it's funny that Wendy Stanzler has directed a couple of Halloween episodes. Maybe she requested that, who's to say. But the point is that there have been a lot of Andy and April Halloween moments, and it's really special. And so to not have your person there for the special thing is really heartbreaking. And so April's trying, but it's really hard. And it is cute that Rob Lowe / Chris is trying to make this fun for her. And oh my gosh, Larry does a great job carving pumpkins. This is so beautiful. Love this so much. I would like that more than 2 triangles and a tooth, because Leslie gets mad at him for saying, you need to only do the easiest thing or what I told you to do. But that's really good. So good job, props department. If you actually carved that, great. But I can also see it being a picture that they somehow put on the pumpkin. But I know that's a thing. People do that. It's like sandcastles. People build sandcastles that are like really intense. They also do this with pumpkins, and they carve like really intense pictures into the pumpkins. So that is a thing. Okay. Moving on, Leslie is spiraling, wondering if any of this is even good. It's very precious that Ben and Anne have created an emotional support task force, essentially to make sure that she's distracted and doesn't spiral / go wild and nuts, overreacting to every little thing. And that would have been I don't know why. I know why Leslie probably didn't think of it, because she was like, her mind was a million different places, but City Halloween would have been really funny, actually. That's a really good idea. And so she wants to change all the signs and rename everything. And Anne says that they should paint their toes like pumpkins, which is so cute. I actually love that idea. I want to do that. That's a really good idea. And like Maddie said in her summary, it's super cute to see Ben and Anne teaming up to make sure that Leslie is safe and supported and distracted from this terrible thing that's happening. I love that they make a fake Lilith Fair poster. That is amazing and would definitely buy them some time. Their secret hand signal is a Klingon salute, which Anne says she would not have agreed to if she knew that for the Trekkies. Anne interrupts Leslie, like I said, and says they should paint their pumpkins. And I just, I think it's really sweet and a really good show of how close your friends are and your loved ones, and how Anne and Ben are not really friends. They don't really like hang out one-on-one, nor that they probably hang out that much with Leslie. Maybe they do, but I wouldn't necessarily see that. But the point is that they banded together for the person that they love, and that was really special to see for sure. Because I don't think we've seen them have a bunch of scenes together recently. So I love Ron's response to Tom talking. So Tom comes over and starts saying things like in his, culture slang, whatever. And he's like, start over and speak differently. And Tom says, did you call the PR guy from Bloosh? And Ron said that he didn't want to do what he said, which was go on Joan Calamezzo's show to talk about the chair. Apparently she, the legendary news anchor, wants Ron to go on her show to talk to the Annabelle Porter lady, but he said no. And now he's going to do it because Tom thinks it will work for him, like for his Rent-A-Swag business, not for Ron. And unfortunately, I got to say, that's not really how it works to force networking. And I don't know, I guess Tom thought that he could just like schmooze his way into making Bloosh talk about Rent-A-Swag, obviously. But that's on the outside looking in. I think the audience is like, honey, that's not going to work, because she seems so exclusive and weird about that kind of stuff. But anyhow, Ron is being a good friend here, which is really interesting. I do feel like he would not have done this in his previous lives with the Parks Department people, but Ron feels like he wants to be a supporter of Tom, and so he says, yeah, okay, I'll do it, fine. Tom and Donna wrote out some conversation topics to practice so Ron can try to fit in. I love this so much. Could I be more jealous of your lowlights? I mean, OM squee, talk about bangs envy. I regret everything. I don't say OM squee. I've never heard that. And I literally hate the word jelly for jealous. I'm jelly. I'm so jelly. I like gels better. I think I like gels. Could I be more jealous of your lowlights? I actually like that a lot more. It's probably more annoying in it. Oh, well. I regret everything. Okay, so it's 8:00 now, and Leslie tells everyone to go home because the polls have closed. We're going to hunker down. It's going to be a long night. We're going to try to find the, strength to stay up all night so that we can get these poll results. Tom even made frappuccinos. Larry went to get pizza. It's going to be a super long night until they call the vote. So Leslie is super cute and precious, saying that she wants everyone to go home, but they are very nice and supportive, as they always have been for her campaign and all the things, and says, no, we're staying with you. It's going to be a long night, but we'll get through it together. This all happens so fast. This huge buildup of, is she going to be recalled? Who's going to take her place? Is anyone going to like stop this from happening? Like whatever. And then it's just over immediately. It's so sad. And Perd just, the way they did this is really hilarious too, because they turn on Perd and immediately she's been recalled. I hate it so much, but it was so well done. Like the way that they had this writing of, it was just so smart of the writers to say all the phrases that Perd said of like, too close to call, like all of that is what we're not going to hear because Leslie Knope has been recalled. And it's just so fast. And you're just like, oh my God. The what? Why? And it's very awful, and I hate it so much, but we were just bait and switched. It's just like so sad. But we knew it was a possibility, just like Anne says. So anyhow, Ben says Leslie's on her way in on the next day. We're here the next day. And I don't know what the F Ben is thinking, man. She's like, yeah, she's handling it pretty well. Ben, don't you be lying. But I think he's just trying to be positive for everybody. I love that Anne says she tried calling her a bunch of times. She tried calling Leslie a bunch of times, and her voice message is just crying and burping. I was also wondering, like, when and why she would change her voicemail, like, during that time. But she probably has her voice message set as City Councilwoman Nope. You know what I'm saying? And so she's like, ugh, I got to change all of that. And I could definitely see her doing that. And then she comes in with sweatpants. She's eating a paunch burger because if you can't beat them, join them. I mean, this is depression. This is sinking, spiraling misery. And it is so sad to witness. She says it's so good. Why did I fight this? Her concession speech is eat my shorts, jabronis. Nope out. Even a little Sebastian paper mache figure does not get her out of this funk. And I don't even mean like a funk, the whole funk. I'm talking about I would have expected maybe a smile, maybe a nod. Amy Poehler does such a great job here of just like blank face, blank stare. I have no feeling. I am numb right now. And that is huge. So it kind of made me want to cry, if I'm being honest. And I know that I'm emotional about the show now because, you know, I've reviewed every single episode and in extensive detail. But I just really feel for Leslie here right now. And I just my heart is being strung out. Okay. I'm gonna go fall asleep on a bench. Okay. So now we're on to Joan, and we're on her show. She says Annabelle Porter is the only person in this town who is a bigger deal than her. And I think it pains Joan to say that, but she knows it's true. I love how Annabelle Porter plays this, hello, it's me, I'm here. She even puts on this voice of, you know, voiceover. This isn't a real voice. It's my influencer voice. Love that very much. And I love that she's saying I'm here instead of like, you get to see, like, instead of saying like, you know, it's so nice to be here. She's like, you get to see me and I'm here and you're welcome. I love this line. I'm just a simple former phone book model who found her calling. She's so good. Annabelle Porter is played by the amazing Erin Hayes, and I'm sure a lot of people recognize her. I'm honestly not super sure what I recognize her from. I think she's been in so many things that I was just like, to be honest, it could be anywhere that I'm recognizing her from. She's so good. And I think she's been in a couple things that I've seen for sure. She was in We Came Together, the movie with Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd. So good. She was in an episode of The Good Doctor, The West Wing, Goldbergs, Kevin Can Wait, like so many things. She's now in a show called Grimsburg on Fox, which is an animated show. So check that out. And she did such a good job. I'm so impressed with her and I'm so glad that she came back. She knew what she was doing. I'm not perfect. I love this so much. She thinks she can relate to normal people because her nanny is a normal person. Like, normal people worry about what they look like in a bathing suit. So does my nanny. So I get it. Mozambique cashmere, just like so many buzzwords that we're not really sure what is going on. She describes Ron's chair as deliciously bold. Did she just call my chair delicious? Delicious is such a wild word to use for something that you like. People do it all the time. I don't know if I've used it ever to describe an inanimate object that I know of. Well, I shouldn't say inanimate object because food is inanimate. I mean, I've never used it unless it's talking about food. I don't think so. So anyhow, okay, so moving on. The haunted house is in full swing. The kids ask where the scary stuff is and if they can have candy. And Leslie is full blown done with it all. This is such a good moment. I love it so much. The scary stuff is inside you. Broken dreams, disappointment, achieving your goal and having it all fall apart. I'm going to give you something sweeter than candy. The truth. I could also see her and Tina Fey doing this as well. The way that she delivers this is so on point for them. I love this. Some of you have already peaked. All downhill from here, turkeys. And I remember, actually, it's so funny. Oh my God, this is just coming up for me. I remember when I worked at an acting studio, I feel like there was someone that was really sad, a kid that was sad, and she was trying to like hide it. And I think other people were like trying to figure out what was going on with her. And I just offhandedly said to my coworkers, my friends now, who I did not tell the kids this, but I was just like, yep, better learn to bury those emotions now. And I think people did not expect that of me. That's a random tangent kind of, but it's just funny to tell kids like adult themes or the idea of it is not actually doing it in practice. So I'm glad that little girl didn't hear me, but yep, you gotta do what you gotta do. I also love this kid, his delivery of, can we have some candy? I love the way he says that. And I love that she knows his name, too. She calls him by his name when she says, I'm going to give you something sweeter than candy or whatever. And yeah, I'm guessing that she knows a lot of the kids' names that have come to the events for City Hall. So that's super great. Oh, yeah, their cute outfit is from The Princess Bride. Love that. Both she and Ben, that's their little couples costume moment. Also, when she leaves, she says, "Nothing gold can stay." And that is a reference to a poem by Robert Frost, which was made famous by S.E. Hinton's novel, The Outsiders, which we just talked about in our last episode because Rob Lowe was in that movie as Soda Pop Curtis in The Outsiders in 1983, which was the movie adaptation of the novel. Wow. Full circle. So Ron doesn't want Annabelle to touch her. He is not charmed. They're back at the news station. Also, like, ew to her saying that you can use a chair for anything other than sitting in it. Use it as a focal point. Use it as an accent piece in your solarium because everyone has solariums. What? I love that Ron is just like, no nonsense about this. He's not having it. Use it as a chair to sit at and eat something or whatever he says, And ew, I don't like this, having a food tease instead of a meal. Gross. No, I do not accept that. Joan says that she loves Annabelle's hair, which is great. And I love that she's like, everybody shut up. This is important. Can I just say, I love your hair. Thank you. It's genetic and unattainable. That's such a good line. So good. And oh my gosh, there is a deleted scene. And I really wish they didn't cut this. It's so good. Where Joan comes to the Bloosh party later and she's dressed like Annabelle. She tries to fit in and she looks so funny. And Annabelle then sees a camera. So she's like, oop, camera, pose. And she kisses Joan on the mouth on camera. And it's so funny because Joan is taken aback, but she's also like, well, I have to fit in. I have to do this. Like, why wouldn't I do this? But she's also like, what just happened? It's so funny and great. It would have been so awesome to see. And I would have loved to see like more scenes of them like being together or trying to, fit in with, Joan trying to fit in with Annabelle. That would have been hilarious. This is the picture that I'll post. But Joan is wearing like a really hip outfit to try to fit in. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. It's still leopard, so she's still keeping with herself. But she also has like a crop top on. Oh my God. Moving on. Okay. Back at the haunted house, Chris is trying to scare April in the mirror. And it's just, again, not working to cheer April up. But it is nice to see him try. Chris is trying to leave and he can't because of the mirror house, which is hilarious. Also, what is April's outfit? It's a flower. But I was like, you can't just be a flower, I feel. Are you an April flower? Like April flowers bring May showers? Or is she a Venus flytrap maybe? That seems more on brand for her. I don't know. But it's cute. So now Leslie's getting super drunk. She says accepting that you've peaked is very freeing, and Ben relates. So him and her are at a bar together after he took her away from the kids. He says he was impeached at 18, and I never really thought about that yeah, he can relate to her deeply on this level of, you did a great thing for your town and they hate you for it, or you tried to do a good thing for your town and they hate you for it. So maybe you just got to keep going. You just got to keep climbing back up the hill, and that's, not what Leslie's thinking at all. Leslie's like, why though? Why can't you just say like, I peaked. What a great run. Wow. I had a great time and now it's all downhill from here. And Ben immediately gets sucked in and he's like, oh my God, did I peak at 18? There it is. Shots. And then they start getting crazy and I get it. So now we are back at the moment with Annabelle Porter. We are now at the party for Bloosh. Donna is introducing us to all the cool things. There's bird bath salts, B13 shots, like actual shots. I thought she was talking about they have those immunity shots. It's like juice or whatever. But no, it looks like an actual syringe. Champagne decanter. This party is wild. And it kind of reminds me of Entertainment 720. I think this is what Entertainment 720 wanted to be in a way. Or they would have thrown this party for her. You know what I'm saying? They probably used that same warehouse. I mean, my God, it looks exactly the same. Just straight opulence, and nothing is necessary. Nothing is needed. We're just here for the lifestyle. So a lady asks Ron for 12 chairs for her craft room. She wants to order them from Ron, and Ron says he only makes 2 a year, so maybe like in a couple years, which makes it even more desirable because now there's a wait list and now it's like exclusive and people have to wait for it. Then another lady comes in saying she wants to be on the wait list too, and then another lady says she does as well, unless it was touched by someone who ate refined sugar, and if so, I don't want any of your chairs and I protest the entire event. That writing is so good, that acting was so good. All these guest stars are fantastic. I'm really into them. The first gal who asks for the craft room chairs is played by Kincaid Walker. Her character name is Averly, and she's been on Speechless, Hug It Out, which I believe she created, many short films, like super cool things. So great job to Kincaid. The second gal who asks to be on the wait list is played by Elizabeth Ann Weiss. I think it's Ann Weiss, Anweis, Ann Weiss. Her character name is Mary Marie, which I just love that. I love it so much. And the amazing crossover for this is that she was on Agatha All Along, the show that Catherine Hahn and Aubrey Plaza were on. She played Lorna Wu, who was the mom of the gal who was the protection witch, who created the song Down, Down, Down the Road, Down the Witch's Road. I don't believe she has any scenes with anyone because they're mostly flashbacks. But that was her. So fun. And she's played in a ton of other things too. 911, Grey's, Twin Peaks, Young and the Restless, a ton of stuff. So I'm glad to see her here. And then the last gal with the refined sugar line her name is, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but I think it's Trian, Trian Long Smith. And her character name is Frenchelle. Oh my gosh. Frenchelle is amazing. So we've got Frenchelle, Mary Marie, and Averly as the 3 guests at this Bloosh party. And just shout out to Mike Schur for creating that, if you did create that. Or whoever the writers were that picked up on the fact that Mike Schur loves to name these characters. So good. Anyhow, they did a great job with being the guests at this party. Frenchelle, or Trian. Oh God, I'm so sorry. That's the worst. But this gal has been in so many things as well. Law and Order, Succession, Blue Bloods, ton of cool stuff. So well done to those 3 characters. I'm very happy to get to see those people. That was really fun. Okay. And I just think it builds up the ambiance, the aura of this party, of Bloosh, of who these people are that want to be, in the circle and to buy these things. Okay, so Tom asks Ron to talk him up when Annabelle comes over, and Annabelle has no interest in talking about anything else but licensing Ron's chairs, which is news to Ron. So she is saying she wants to put them all over the Midwest. And I love this performance where she keeps looking over and smiling at random people, like she is just wanted at every single corner of this party, which she is. But I love it so much. It's so good. She's just like, hey, oh, hi, as she's talking. Okay, so back with Leslie and Ben. They're mega drunk. They have gone off the deep end. They're like, at least we have each other. And I love this so much. This is real. You're my husband. I'm your wife. You married me in front of people. I did. I was there. That's such a good little runner moment. So Leslie says they should do something to commemorate their love. So they go to get tattoos at a pawn shop, which is perfect. I like that this guy in particular is back. He is a Lurpus, and he is played by Howard Birch, our pawn shop, pawnee, guy. He's just the guy you go to. And that line, this is a pawn shop. But sure, I can do that. And he's breaking up pens for the ink. Oh my God. But he does have a needle. I was expecting him to just break up the pens for the ink and like draw with some other instrument. I don't know, but there are needles later on. But Ben and Leslie are so freaking cute. I can't stand it. I just love it so much. They start making out drunkenly after they hurt each other, high-fiving. They are a really good team. And like I said, I just had never really thought about how Ben could really relate to Leslie here. So they are sinking low. All right, so now Tom is talking about Rent-A-Swag. And he is talking to Annabelle about it. And she says, it's an interesting idea. And, Tom is like, yeah, we're doing so amazing. We're doing so great. It'd be so perfect for Bloosh. And Annabelle says they could stop by in February because she has scouts going out. But then that'll be too late because Tom will be out of business. And, yeah, Annabelle hears that and is like, well, I thought you said you were doing well. So clearly that is no longer an option on the table. Bummer. So then she calls Ron Ronnie, which I know he probably hates, and she asks if he's reconsidered mass production, and he still doesn't want to, so she ends the party, which is classic. This party no longer is, it was. I want to start saying that about anything. You know what I mean? I think that's great. Donna has 9,000 gift bags. It's perfect. I love that so we're back with Ben and Leslie, and I love that this guy says no when Leslie's like, are we the cutest couple you've ever seen? Just matter-of-factly, the guy's like, nope. So good. Ben is playing with a chainsaw or something, which is crazy, and then there's a pill bucket. I love his excited face, though, when he shows us the pill bucket. He's so, in awe and like a giddy little kid. And somehow Anne figures out where they are and comes in to stop them. And I think it's great because someone has to have a clear head on her shoulders. Be hospitable for a second. I do wonder if Anne would have gotten sucked in if it wasn't for her being pregnant and she couldn't drink. You know what I mean? That would have been fun to see too. But I'm glad this is totally Anne's character. This is exactly what it should have been. So it worked out. Ron is comforting Tom, and he's being, such a dad-like fatherly figure here. There's no shame in failure if you gave it an honest effort, and that is so true. The lady in my workout videos says that too. She's like, don't be afraid of failure. Think of it as something to work towards. And I think we have really given the word failure such a terrible stigma because it feels so awful in the moment, but it is something to work towards. It is something to look into the future and also learn something, you know what I mean? Which I know is similar to going into the future, but in the moment it does suck, which I think is really important for people to understand that you're allowed to feel like you failed. You're allowed to feel shitty, just like with Leslie. Both Leslie and Tom have ample valid reasons to feel awful and to feel shitty, and I think you need to have that moment. I know Anne is good at pulling her out of this in this time a little bit later on, just about to come up. But you have to have your sinking moment and your sadness moment. You really do need to feel that, because if you don't, it's going to come up somewhere else in your life and it's not going to be pretty. You really need to feel that sadness. You need to feel that sinking. You need to cry. You need to be in your hot chocolate thinking PJs and just have a moment, because it's a big deal. And for both Tom and Leslie, this was something that was, in their comfort zone in a way. They had been working towards it, but it was something that was a dream of theirs. And so it's a big fucking deal when it's destroyed for them. Even though both of them, that's so interesting. I didn't really think about the parallels, but even though they both kind of saw it coming and had warning, it wasn't out of the blue. So tough stuff. Okay. So the only thing that matters is what's on your gravestone, Ron says, which is your name. Your name is who you are, what you stand for. Tom says his gravestone is going to be a touchscreen with a hologram of 4 Toms singing Boys to Men. Oh my gosh. But I get your point. Don't let her get a tattoo is the first rule of the Leslie Knope task force, which makes me wonder, did she ever try to get a tattoo when she was feeling low before? Or maybe she's tried to, I could absolutely see her telling this to Anne when they're both drunk, or just her getting drunk or something, like we should get matching tattoos or something as best friends. I could absolutely see that happening. So I definitely wonder if it had happened before. So this is the part where Anne lays some hard truths on her. And although it is a bit of a harsh tone, she's right that it wasn't all on Leslie. The opponents were well funded. She was down in the polls. Like, you knew this could be a possibility. And I love that Anne wrote a beautiful letter to Leslie, and Leslie has to read it, about how Leslie has 30 days left of work. There are a lot of ongoing projects, so use those 30 days to get to work and finish what you started. And it's a really good best friend moment, because she points out tangibly what you can see and how you can move forward from this. And the tangible aspect of it is those posters in her office, and these are the things that you have going on in your life. This is what you can focus on, instead of sinking and spiraling. Like, I know that you needed that. This is what can pull you out of it, because guess what, you are still a city councilor for 30 more days, and whether they like it or not, you are going to stick to your guns, and you're going to stick to your morals, and you're going to continue working for this town. And I think that it's one of the best Leslie Ann best friend moments, because like Anne says, never send a husband to do a best friend's job. It's just really beautiful, and it's very cute that Leslie says you're a noble land mermaid. And we are proven that this was an Anne job, because Ben comes in and says he flushes his car keys down the toilet. And Leslie's like, no problem. So Chris and Anne are now kissing, and it's very precious. And April says, you guys are cute. And it kind of just comes out of her, it bubbles up. And oh my gosh, she's being so nice. She's weak because she misses Andy. They have a really cute couple's costume, the little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. That's very, very, very cute. Love that. Okay, so this was where Tom has to go into the negotiating aspect of it. He is going to sell, sadly, and he negotiates regarding the name. And really, honestly, I'm really happy for Tom for accepting that this happened, doing it on his terms, getting his money. And I think that's the best thing that you can do. If you have to sell, he knows that he's in demand and that John Ralphio's dad has the money. So that's good he thought of that on the spot to move forward, because John Ralphio's dad wants the name Rent to Swag. It's very important to the business, blah, blah, blah. And Tom was like, okay, bitch, I'll give it to you, but cut the check and cut more of the check, okay? Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of debt, says Beyonce. So that is what Tom did. It was a baller move, and he thought of it in the moment. And it's really important for us to see, I think, as well, for his entrepreneurial spirit, because I personally don't believe he would have done this in his E720 days. He's learned so much, and you can see the progression of each, business getting better. And even though this is not the way that this was supposed to end, he was in demand. He did build a good business this time. It did build a profit. It was just like you got the short end of the stick with Dr. Saperstein and your terrible friends. So to see, how he gets out of this and is looking forward and is saying, okay, well, now I got some seed money for my next venture. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And we can wrap that up with a little bow. So now we're at the press conference, and Leslie is saying she's been recalled, but she's still their city councilor, and she's going to work for the city as long as she can. She's been so mature throughout this whole thing, and this is a really good foreshadowing moment because soon we're going to see Jen Barkley, and she's going to, give her some advice on what to do for this press conference moment. I do also love this Ben and Anne moment reminding us that it's very easy to be on the Leslie emotional support task force because she's never down for long. And now she's like a toddler bouncing back from a nap. And it's beautiful. You really see that, like I said, she needed that moment to really sink and come to terms with everything. And now that she has, she's like ready to go. And I think that's a really good lesson for us all to learn, that we still have things to live for. We still have things to fight for. And as long as we're living and breathing, we're going to do our best. And that's all we can do. It's so beautiful. She carves their faces into pumpkins, which is so good. Shout out to the props person or whoever did that. It truly is amazing. I love it so much. I don't know. It's just perfect. But I also think it's funny that she was mad at Larry for doing it, and then she gets to do it just all willy-nilly. But again, it's a really nice way to look forward, because I think we started this episode, especially the name of the episode, Recall Vote. We're like, no, God, I hate this. This is terrible. I don't want anyone to be recalled. And I do need to talk to the writers about this as well, because maybe someone's available, because I want to know how we got to the point of her being recalled, because it very easily could have also been like, her term is up, what's she going to do next? But now it's like a full-on shakeup. And like, we didn't expect this to happen, because we worked so hard to get her campaign up and going, to get her in the city councilor seat. And so to not have her be on the seat that she worked so hard for, obviously we know that Leslie is going to move forward in a brilliant way. But I would love to know the thought process behind, why did we rip her out of the city council as opposed to letting it peter out and then move forward? Maybe that's like, I know I'm probably thinking too deep into it, but that's, I know that's happened in my life before, where a lot of times, the universe will just make sure like that you get on the track that you're supposed to be on by literally pushing you onto it, as opposed to you just like making the decision, going with the steps, and, doing A plus B equals C. Sometimes it's like, okay, we're skipping B. A equals C now, bitch. Whether you like it or not, the universe has ripped the rug out from under you, and it needed to happen. You know what I mean? So I wonder if that was a thought process. I don't know. Well, you guys, that was Recall Vote. It was kind of a little bit of a shorty, so I'll let you go early. Oh my gosh, I'm acting like I'm on a Teams meeting or something. We didn't have a ton of guest stars in this, except for the people at the Bloosh moment, and I didn't hear back from any of them. So if they hope, maybe, they'll get back to me another time. But thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, do all the things. Check out all of the new shows that are coming out that Mike Schur has a hand in. We'll post some stuff out about that. Thank you to Craig Stepp for sending in voice memos. Please let us know if there's anything else we can research for you. And stay safe out there, you guys, and try your best to keep moving forward. This is really hard. Life is hard. Everything is hard right now. So I hope that we can bring you some joy and laughter in the meantime. Thank you so much again, and we'll talk to you very shortly. Bye, you guys.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.